Hello and welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is July 10th, 2026. Happy Friday. Anyhow, so candles are green today, but again, we're still kind of crabby. It's looking good though. Things are looking okay. I'm thinking that stuff is going to recover, keep going up. I think we might have actually had our bounce. Hopefully, it's not dead cat bounce or double dead cat bounce, but it is kind of looking pretty bullish. I'm feeling okay with things. There are, of course, macro things to consider and stuff like that, and how little liquidity there is in crypto right now. It was a bit hard to find some tweets today because everybody's talking about Robinhood and meme coins on Robinhood, and I don't want to amplify any of that stuff. But at the same time, like everybody does what they want to do. People know the trenches. People know how to gamble. People know how to extract money with meme coins. So they're of course going to talk about it. People are making money. Those people are going to talk. The people losing money are going to just sit at home and cry and not say anything. And it's just the way crypto Twitter is and always has been. So everything's pretty much green except we've got a little bit of a red candle on gold today. So looking around, I don't want to go into too much into these charts, but things are okay, I guess. Things are improving across the board, and that's great. Let's get into our tweets. So the first tweet we have here is Liquidity has another new liquidity pool. So we have Bold versus AVUSD, Avant Protocol. So I'm going to click that into the last down over here. I don't know what Avant Protocol is. It's something I'm going to have to look at. Avant delivers high risk adjusted yield on your assets powered by on-chain strategies. So they've decided to mix up with liquidity, create a Curve LP. You can put that Curve LP into Stake DAO and auto compound it. It's currently paying about 30% APR. I'm going to take a look at Avant Protocol later and see if it's unique enough that requires its own little snack sandwich video, and if I'm interested enough by reading through a little bit. So anyways, but that opportunity is there. You can look a little bit deeper ahead of me and see if it's interesting to you. Okay, Polaris drops this thing here, and you can watch through this little video, but the key sentence is right. Where is it? So here's the key sentence here: economy. So they're going to build this own like synthetic economy. There will be many synthetic assets that will all be yield bearing, and they'll all be counterparty free. So yeah, so like I said, I'm waiting for them to drop their new docs that fully explain things that they've settled on, and then I will do a snack sandwich video on it. Just because I invested in this thing. I seeded it, like not with tons of money, but I seeded it, and I'm gonna shill it, right? I'm gonna explain it to you, right? So anyhow, moving on. So here we have this guy here. He's talking to Gabriel Sapiro, LexNode, and they're kind of bouncing around with stuff. And I don't want to read all of it, but let's just read what Gabriel says in reply to this thread, and then you can dig in here and read the whole thread a little bit more. He's like, the fact remains, there is simply no reason ETH or Ethereum, right, Ethereum or ETH shouldn't have given up all opportunities to more directly accrue value. I don't think the revenue is the be all, end all, and please don't put me into that bucket, but it doesn't mean that we should have been stupid and given up opportunities for revenue burn. Zero reason why ETH Foundation couldn't have designed the L2 game theory better and directly onboarded Robinhood instead of giving up 10% of its revenue to ARB. And so, yeah, so someone did reply to that and say, like, oh, I thought I was in that. Let's see if I could go through the, so here we go. Stood on his, wait, what do you mean? ETH Foundation should have built their own roll-up stack? And I kind of agree with this. Like, why not? And like, it's not too late for them to do so, but maybe ETH Foundation's not going to do it, but one of the other ones, ETH Labs, might do it. But it's kind of interesting idea or thought. You know what I mean? Like they were worried so much about mainnet, and they kind of just like let other people take that opportunity of creating an L2 stack, running the L2 stack, and generating and accruing the value of those L2 stacks. In both Optimism and Arbitrum are the main ones, and then ZK and all of these other ones kind of came along as well. And Ethereum didn't build any of them. So it's an interesting thought. And jump in here if you have some comments on this and you have more ideas. I don't want to dwell too much on it. I'm just here to give you little teasers and little tastes. Okay, so quotable crypto is a product, an X profile I like to follow. They tend to tweet out quotes that people say, and they're all pretty good quotes for the most part. And he's got a list here of some goated people that you can follow, and they're worth following. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because yesterday I saw some girl cry. I don't know, she was crying on crypto about losing. She showed a screenshot of her wallet. She lost, I don't know, $20 or something like that, and something like what in crypto we consider just like daily like burn or whatever, right? And she lost it, and she was pretty distressed. And she showed basically she's using Phantom Wallet, and she had a bunch of shitcoin meme coins in there. And it's because she's following the wrong people. Like, there are tons of people right now shilling like meme coins because they own meme coins, and those meme coins are up. They bought them already, and now they're shilling them. But they're all pointless, right? They're all, and I told her that like what you're doing is you put your $20 in a slot machine. The slot machine is designed for you to lose. Like, of course, if you're early, you're less likely to lose. If you're late, you're more likely to lose. But it is designed to extract money. It's not a value add. There's no product market fit. There's no utility. It's just simply, if you are early, you get other people's money. And unfortunately, like all crypto coins are like that, the coins themselves. But a lot of them, like, you can stake them and get the revenue, the fees from the protocol or the project that is actually providing a utility or a use for people. And that's way different than, just buying some cat picture or some, whatever picture. But anyways, moving on. So here's a pretty interesting article or little thoughts from Nick Tomaniano. I don't follow him, but anyhow, I probably unfollowed him because he was shilling something that I didn't like. But he's like, real-world assets on-chain allow people around the world to access assets that they would otherwise not be accessible. So global access has been one of the most interesting aspects of crypto, and it is also why BTC, ETH, and other coins have succeeded to date. Now, you can go through all of this and read through all of it, but I do agree with him a lot on that. And if we can bring, like, there are some things, of course, where, putting real-world assets on-chain and giving anonymous access, permissionless access to everyone isn't going to work, right? Like retail, like buying a house. You can't put your house for sale and have somebody who lives in Iran or Philippines or something buy your house, even though they don't have a visa to come and live here, and they don't have like the ability to actually take over that house, right? But it doesn't necessarily, and then you'll also have like huge corporations buying up all the houses because they're allowed to do it permissionlessly, and there's no market protections. Everyone's house price is going to skyrocket, so the people who are trying to actually buy a home will have to compete with like whales, which sucks, right? So obviously there's a little bit of, now we can't do everything, but we can do a lot of things, right? And there can still be like smart contracts as well as chains. They do have the ability to require whitelisting to buy and this kind of stuff. So you could have, in essence, you could put them on chain, but you just need to build it needs to be built with the tech that allows for this kind of KYCing and AMLing and stuff like that. Moving on. So Banker dropped this article here. I will be reading this soon. It's Carbon DeFi MCP server. So I'm going to read through the headlines here, and then if you want to read this, you can read this. In my opinion, Carbon DeFi is the best place to provide liquidity on chain. In my opinion, it's the best user experience, unquestionably. Now, you're not going to get like a huge business. You're not going to get a bunch of reward tokens that are bought by Coinbase, or you're not going to get like a whole bunch of KOLs shilling your reward tokens. There's no reward tokens here. It's just a fantastic place because it allows you to adjust things, move things, and even provide liquidity that is in a manner that is seen nowhere else, right? So anyhow, let's see what this article is about. It says inspect live markets. So they've dropped this new like MCP compatible agents. So this is like a code so that agents can access this protocol, right? So they can inspect live markets, they can compare strategies, they can simulate strategies before deploying, they can prepare limit range, reoccurring concentrated liquidity, and full range liquidity, adjust positions as they go live, after they go live, and prepare transactions for review and signing. So yeah, if you do have an AI agent, you can or an AI agent building protocol, you can kind of access this now with your agent. You can give them the ability to manage positions or build positions for you. Monad. So Monad retweeted this. MetaMask, this guy, Ethereum Joseph, he's talking about why MetaMask uses Monad for their money account. So I don't know what this money account thing is. It's probably likely like, put your USDC that you're holding in MetaMask to work, and they've decided to do this on Monad. I listened to this like article or this explanation, and it basically comes down to like, MetaMask did a whole bunch of rigorous, so he calls it rigorous analysis, and then he goes in, there's a feel, there's good finality, and there's just a real-time feel. But he doesn't go into any kind of like metrics and specifics and stuff like that. So that's kind of saddening, but maybe he just doesn't have it off the top of his head. But he's definitely, if he's going to say something like that, I think he should supply some quantifiable proof of what he's trying to say. Especially somebody like him. He's not he's the co-founder of Ethereum, founder of Consensus. The guy should be able to drop some data, to back up his claims in an interview. But I don't know, I don't want to be too harsh on him. I do use Monad. I still have some assets there. I don't have a lot anymore because, I found a better opportunity, and I'm a mercenary yield farmer, and that's what I do, right? So, I move my stuff around. But anyways, let's move on. Sandeep, CEO of Polygon, tweeting out this idea. Stablecoins aren't crypto tool anymore. They are the use case. It's kind of sad. I kind of feel a little bit sad, but at the same time, I would much rather tell people, get some yield on your stablecoins instead of like, hey, go gamble in the trenches. I will much rather that. It's much safer, much less scarier. But it's kind of a little bit scary. Like it kind of sucks a little bit. Everybody's not. They're buying ETH instead. They're buying. They're just using stablecoins and deploying them. But you can still like use your ETH to mint stablecoins and deploy those, right? So there's still a lot of use case here. But he's got some numbers here. 12-month stablecoin supply 16 billion. 12-month active addresses 400 million. June stablecoin volume 1.7 trillion. So yeah, like he's right. Like crypto has become a stablecoin rail, and that's good. I like that, and that's good, I think, for everyone. So this is kind of interesting. So there's this, Arbitrum tweeted out Vexit. Virtual Protocol retweeted them with Vexit, and Arbitrum saluted Virtual. Now, Virtual Protocol is an AI agent launchpad on Base, not Arbitrum, right? And so this was kind of interesting, and it made me kind of look a little bit further into what's going on here, right? I launched a AI agent on Virtuals. It's called Ask the Sandwich. However, they really changed everything and kind of made my agent pointless. And I didn't want to spend hours and hours and hours and try to rebuild the thing. So I kind of pivoted it and I just left. Like I still have liquidity for it, and it's still sitting there. I have another liquidity pool for it and stuff like that. But that's not the point. My point here is like, why is an AI agent protocol on Base retweeting an Arbitrum one? So I went to look a little bit more, and there's this project Vex. So Vex app is here. Your agent you can trust with the agent you can trust with your capital. Vex makes the system around the model trustworthy enough for capital. If an agent can handle your capital, it can handle anything. So yeah, of course, you're going to have to read a little bit further. What is this? What's going on here? I'm still super skeptical of like giving significant funds to any kind of AI agent. But at the same time, I should, get with the times and not be the old grandpa on the porch, right? But moving on. So Sam sat down with Fully Vested podcast by DeFi Llama. So he sat down with several people. Where are the people? Anyhow, someone did say, so he's here with Patrick, who's basically DeFi Llama for this use case, representing DeFi Llama. And then we have DeFi Dave, which is also representing DeFi Llama in this case, but DeFi Dave is also representing Cap Money, which is a stable coin. But there are a few things in here. One of the things I really think Sam is hitting on truly here is like he says right now, like all of our tokens are doing pretty bad. Our ecosystem is not growing like the way it should. And he attributes it all to the fact that most finances right now are aping into AI. And the best way to ape into AI right now is via stocks on companies that produce AI technology. So he's like, that's why we don't have a whole lot of liquidity in crypto, is because it's all kind of rotated into AI. You need to sell something in order to buy something else, right? So they're selling the crypto to get into that, right? And also gold as well and other things, right? So you can watch this whole thing. It's pretty long, 43 minutes, but the headings are pretty good. So he talks a lot about why Frax is cockroaching it and being able to like get through the bear market. He talks about prediction markets, token equity splits. The whole like idea of the VVV drama that is going around. Clarity Act, crypto is underperforming. Why crypto is underperforming, which I talked about already. And then the upcoming partnerships and initiatives for Frax. I think is a pretty good TLDR on Frax and kind of the ecosystem as a whole. I respect Sam and his thoughts, and he definitely knows what he's talking about. So yeah, check it out. So the roll-up had new Mitch on, and Mitch is talking about yield basis. It's really great to listen to Mitch talk about his tech because super big brain guy, and he does things right, I feel like, in the space. Like Curve is run the way it should, and now yield basis is being run in the same manner. It's not just him, the founder, out shilling, buying, making, bribing people to pump his coins and stuff like that. Of course, he's just super rich, and people hate on him for that, right? But what he's talking about here is yield basis, right? So yield basis is a way to provide liquidity with no impermanent loss. And basically, he kind of contrasts the problem. Like you need to have concentrated liquidity now in order for your liquidity pools to be competitive and capital efficient. It's like, full range of liquidity just doesn't really work anymore, especially for assets that are like, they already have full range liquidity, right? Somewhere else or in other manners, right? So he's like, but the problem is, like market makers on like for example, Uniswap, V3 or V4, you have market makers who have to kind of move the money around manually because they're like, it's going out of range, let's move it up, or it's going out of range, let's move it down. And then you have third-party automatic market makers that move it around. But what he's built here at yield basis is it automatically manages concentrated liquidity. and it's removed impermanent loss from it. So it's pretty interesting stuff. I do have a video on it if you want to dig deeper, but as always, read the docs, understand what this thing is, especially before you put money into it, because it's not a typical AMA. It's not AMM. It's not typical in the sense that you can withdraw at any time, but there are times when you really shouldn't be withdrawing. So make sure you understand that. Now I'm probably saying, it's a great place to provide liquidity, and if you go there, it's probably full, right? Let's take a quick look. Yield basis, it's probably pretty damn close. Yeah, so it's almost all full. If you have some Coinbase BTC, you can put it in here, but everything else full. So yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that. So check it out. Check out yield basis. I did see this other clown llama talking about yield basis. There's not a whole lot of liquidity for the yield basis token, but it's getting arbed like crazy. So anytime someone buys into this protocol, the market makers are selling on them and then buying back, basically accumulating. So they're selling the pumps to buy back the dumps in a slower, kind of DCA style manner. That's what that's the picture he's painting. Okay, so when you do look at the chart and you do see the chart looks not very good, it's only down, and any pump gets dumped on, then you feel like it's insider trading, or it's the team dumping, or in early accumulators just dumping all over it. But what he's saying is that's not the case. What the case is you have large whales who are buying, DCAing into it, and then when there are pumps, they're selling, getting more capital, and then DCAing back into it again. So they're basically accumulating people's yield basis. Now you can deposit this yield basis, you can lock it, right? And that's one of the things he does say. So 52 million yield basis emitted total, and 61 million were locked into VE yield basis. So it is being locked. So that's it for today. This is a little bit long. I think I blabbered on a little bit too much. So I'm going to stop there. And thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.